Somewhere in the Pacific sits an island you can pay $630 to see, land on for exactly 3 hours, and never once set foot in the town where its people actually live. Somewhere else, the postcard town you already saved to your camera roll is still fenced off behind construction signs. And one island, the one everyone assumes is the safe, obvious choice, might be quietly setting up the biggest letdown of your entire trip. Here is what the brochures leave out. 6 islands, 6 different realities. One clear winner almost nobody expects, sitting right where the danger should be. 2 more islands, technically off limits to nearly everyone watching this. By the time this video ends, you will know exactly which island to book without a second thought, which one to book with your eyes wide open, and which one could quietly wreck the vacation you have been saving for. Number 6 is where the real story starts, and it is not the island most people assume. Before we get into it, tell me where you are watching from right now. Drop your city or your country in the comments below. Everything in this ranking comes from official state reports, recent news coverage, and current traveler feedback, not guesswork, so stick around, because the order might genuinely surprise you. Number 6. Oahu, Hawaii. Picture this. Turquoise water, white sand, palm trees swaying exactly the way the postcard promised, Diamond Head framing the skyline, a Pearl Harbor memorial waiting just down the road. That is the version of Waikiki built to make you click book now. Here is the version nobody puts in the ad. The beach itself is disappearing. Erosion has been quietly eating away at the shoreline for years, and crews now truck in sand just to keep it from vanishing completely. The state has started requiring reservations at popular beaches and trails, a quiet admission that crowding has crossed from charming into unmanageable. Traffic tells the same story. A drive that looks like 15 minutes on the map can swallow half your afternoon once Honolulu weekend congestion sets in. And the bill keeps climbing behind the scenes. Combined hotel taxes here have crept up to nearly 19%, so the room that looked reasonable online quietly costs far more at checkout, and a rental car during a busy week can run into the hundreds of dollars a day before you even leave the lot. Waikiki has also become the state's busiest hunting ground for tourist traps. The free luau ticket that is really a 4-hour timeshare pitch you cannot politely exit. One family was billed more than $900 over a supposed wrong terminal drop-off, despite both terminals sharing the exact same code in the rental system. Even the rooms are not guaranteed to match the photos. Some visitors describe arriving to find carpets damp and bathrooms in need of real attention, so read recent reviews, not just the highlight reel, before you book anything outside the major chains. If you plan to visit the USS Arizona Memorial at Pearl Harbor, reserve directly through the official park website, since street vendors offering shortcuts are rarely legitimate. Step away from the main strip, and Kapahulu Avenue serves some of the best local food on the island. No beachfront markup attached. Hanauma Bay, the postcard snorkeling cove on the island's east side, now requires an online reservation and closes entirely on Tuesdays to let the reef recover, a small but telling sign of how seriously the state is finally treating overuse. Diamond Head State Monument runs the same way now, timed entry only, no walk-up tickets left at the gate the way there used to be. If you are staying inside a major resort with young kids in tow, none of this touches you much. But if you came chasing a quiet, untouched slice of paradise, that version does still exist here, just not on this strip. It waits a short drive away, on the North Shore or in Kailua, where almost nobody actually budgets the time to go. Waikiki is not a scam. It is simply sold as more than it can honestly deliver, and that gap between the thumbnail and the checkout receipt is exactly what earns it the 6th spot. But the next island trades a crowd problem for a timing problem, and that shift changes everything about how you should plan. Number 5. Maui, Hawaii. Here is a fact most travel videos skip entirely. The charming old town in your head when you picture Lahaina barely exists yet in real life. Wildfire tore through in August of 2023 and destroyed roughly 2,200 structures. Debris removal alone was not finished until February of 2025, and the sewer system only came back online that April. By March of 2026, only about 552 rebuilding permits had been issued, with just 159 homes actually completed, meaning the rebuild sits at roughly 1/4 done, and that count only covers houses, not the shopping and dining district most visitors picture when they book this island. Front Street reopened to cars in August of 2026, but wide sections of the old town remain behind construction, fencing, not open for a stroll. Lahaina Harbor only started welcoming limited boat tours again in December of 2025, so even a sunset sail out of the old harbor is a genuinely new development, not a returning tradition. Rental inventory in West Maui keeps shrinking as new short-term rental limits take hold, pushing prices upward. None of this is new tension either. Maui carried over-tourism complaints for years before the fire, tension serious enough that a former mayor once publicly asked airlines to bring fewer visitors. None of this means skip the island. It means arrive understanding exactly what you are walking into. Kaanapali, Kapalua, and Napili remain fully open and genuinely stunning, and visiting between December and April puts you in prime range for world-class whale watching along the road to Hana, one of the most scenic drives in the state, though narrow enough that a full day beats a rushed afternoon. Haleakala National Park now caps daily visitors to control overcrowding, so sunrise reservations disappear fast. Further inland, Iao Valley State Park reopened with a rebuilt visitor structure after storm damage of its own, proof that recovery here rarely follows a straight line. Statewide law has actually required reef-safe sunscreen since 2018. Maui resorts simply enforce it more visibly than most. Buying a ticket to a relocated show like the old Lahaina Luau sends real money directly to families still rebuilding their lives, and packing reef-safe mineral sunscreen respects rules some resorts already enforce. What you cannot do is treat a recovering town like a photo opportunity, and that expectation gap, more than the price tag itself, is what pulls Maui down to number 5. Kauai does not test you with construction fencing. It tests you with a single road that can vanish beneath you overnight. Number 4. Kauai, Hawaii. Imagine building the perfect week on Kauai, and on day 3, the island's only road shuts down and cuts the whole place in half. This is not some rare worst-case scenario dreamed up for a thumbnail. It has happened, more than once. Kauai runs on a single coastal highway with no loop around the island, so when that road closes during flash flooding or a landslide, and it regularly does, whoever is on the wrong side simply cannot get to the other. One recent storm shut the North Shore route completely, cutting off Hanalei, the Napali trailheads, and Haina State Park in a single afternoon. The Napali Coast, Haina State Park, and the famous Kalalau Trail close for this exact reason on a regular basis. 2026 alone brought multiple tropical storms that triggered flood watches and closures across the island, occasionally stranding visitors overnight with nowhere to go. Weather is only half the risk. Kauai carries around 10 documented categories of tourist scams, fake vacation rental listings, staged rental car damage claims, and the same free luau bait working the rest of the state. Book a Napali boat trip or a helicopter flight and confirm the operator's certification before you pay a cent. And only ever depart from an official harbor like Port Allen, never a random beach meeting point someone messaged you about. Full-day boat tours here typically run past $100 a person. Helicopters cost even more, so treat either as a planned splurge, not a spontaneous add-on, and check the National Weather Service forecast the night before any outdoor plan, especially outside the drier summer months, because that single habit can save the trip. The South Shore around Poipu tends to stay drier and calmer when storms roll through the north side, a smarter base for anyone unwilling to gamble an entire trip on one stretch of coastline, and the Wailua River offers a calmer paddle when the ocean itself turns unpredictable. Koki State Park, perched higher above Waimea Canyon, often stays clear even when the coastline below is soaked, giving flexible travelers a reliable plan the moment the lowlands start to flood. None of this makes Kauai a bad island. The scenery earns the nickname Garden Isle honestly. Waimea Canyon and Hanalei Bay rank among the most photographed places in the entire state. But this is the least predictable island on the list, and predictability is exactly what most vacations quietly depend on. Kauai does not disappoint travelers. It disappears on them without warning, which is precisely why it holds the 4 spot. Weather ends the guessing game here. On the next island, the guessing game belongs to the volcano itself. Number 3, Big Island, Hawaii. You have probably heard the Big Island guarantees a look at real, live lava. That promise sits in almost every tour advertisement on the island. Here is the truth behind it. Kilauea has been erupting in short, unpredictable bursts since December 23rd of 2024, passing its 50th episode by June of 2026, and most of those bursts last only a few hours before pausing for 1 to 3 weeks. Book the wrong day, and you could drive 2.5 hours from Kona to the national park and stare at a quiet, empty crater. Then there is fog, a hazy blend of volcanic gas and fine particles that shifts with the wind, blanketing Kona some days and swinging toward Hilo and the summit the next, a real concern for anyone with asthma or heart conditions. Viewing areas inside the park can close without notice the instant a new episode starts, and the main Summit Visitor Center currently sits closed for renovation, with services shifted to a temporary welcome center nearby. None of this means skip the island. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park has protected this landscape since 1916, carries UNESCO World Heritage status, and still pulls in somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4 million visitors a year, remarkable for a park that requires a flight just to reach, which makes an unpredictable eruption schedule sting even more for travelers working with only a handful of vacation days. It means dropping the fantasy of a guaranteed lava show squeezed into a tight half-day window. Entry runs $30 per vehicle for a full week, and the $55 Tri-Park annual pass earns itself back fast if Haleakala is also on your Maui itinerary. Mauna Kea's summit offers some of the clearest stargazing on the planet, though altitude sickness is a real concern, so acclimatize at the visitor station on the way up. Kona coffee farms and the black sand beaches near Punaluu round out an island that rewards patience over a rushed checklist. Cross to the Hilo side and the climate flips entirely. Waterfalls like Akaka Falls and Rainbow Falls thrive on rainfall the Kona coast rarely sees. Proof that this single island somehow holds nearly every climate zone on the planet within one tank of gas. Check volcano activity every single morning before committing to a plan, and treat the visit as a full day, not a quick stop wedged between beach time. The advertisement sells certainty. The island only ever offers a chance, and that gap between promise and probability is exactly what earns it the 3 spot. Everything shifts from here. The next 2 islands do not sit on this list because they let you down. They sit here for the opposite reason entirely, and that reason might change how you plan every future trip to this state. Number 2, Molokai, Hawaii. Every island so far has carried some gap between what the advertisement promises and what actually greets you at the gate. Here, that gap simply disappears. Molokai is where this list stops warning you and starts welcoming you in. Call it the most untouched, least developed island in the state. And for once, the marketing is not exaggerating. There are no traffic lights, no towers rising above the palm line, nothing built to impress. Papohaku Beach stretches for what feels like miles, and having the entire shoreline to yourself is closer to normal than lucky. Halawa Valley, tucked into the island's east end, opens onto waterfalls and a genuine window into some of the earliest Hawaiian settlement, reachable with a local guide who treats the hike as storytelling, not just exercise. Kaunakakai, the island's only real town, still runs on a handful of family-owned shops and a bakery famous for sweet bread pulled fresh from the oven each morning, a rhythm closer to a small fishing village than anything resembling a resort district. Purdy's Macadamia Nut Farm, still run by the same family for generations, offers a free tour that feels more like visiting relatives than checking off a tourist stop. Molokai also carries real cultural weight, the traditional birthplace of hula and home to the highest share of native Hawaiian residents anywhere in the state, a heritage that shapes everything from how you are greeted to how carefully certain places are protected. Come here ready to listen more than you photograph, and you will likely find the warmest welcome on this entire list. None of this comes free of friction. Rental cars and hotel rooms are scarce enough that both need booking months, not days, ahead of time. The ferry that once linked Molokai to Maui and Lanai stopped running years ago, leaving Hulehua Airport, served by a single small carrier as the only realistic way in. Access to Kalaupapa National Historical Park, one of the island's most meaningful sites, has been unsteady through 2026, with public tours paused and restarted more than once. Roughly one-third of the island, more than 50,000 acres known as Molokai Ranch, has sat closed to tourism since 2008, quietly limiting how much of the West End you can actually reach. None of that makes Molokai a trap dressed up as a dream. It makes it a place that rewards planning with something no brochure can manufacture: honesty. Arrive prepared, with a car booked early, patience for Kalaupapa, and genuine respect for a slower way of living, and the island gives you back exactly what it promised. That is not a flashy reason to rank second. It might be the most convincing one on this entire list. And at number 1, that same honesty comes with a much steeper price tag. Number 1, Lanai, Hawaii, $900 a night. That is where rooms start at the Four Seasons on Lanai, and on peak dates a single night can climb past $6,000. On paper, that number should sit at the very top of a list built around tourist traps, not the bottom of one. Here is the twist that changes everything. It does not belong there at all. The state's own official tourism management report, covering 2026 through 2028, found that Lanai residents reported higher satisfaction with tourism than the statewide average, with 0 locations flagged as overcrowded hotspots anywhere on the island. 0. Guests describe a beach that stays hushed even at the height of the season, service that feels genuinely attentive rather than rehearsed, and an experience that actually matches what the price tag promises instead of quietly falling short. Hulapo Beach sits inside a protected marine reserve just below the resort, where spinner dolphins glide through the bay and the snorkeling holds its own against almost anywhere else in the state. Much of this transformation traces back to a reported $450 million renovation funded by the island's majority private owner, a project that touched nearly every corner of the property, right down to a golf course carved along the sea cliffs. Lanai City itself still carries the soul of an old pineapple plantation town, a small grid of shops and family-run kitchens a world away from the polish at the resort gates. Just outside town, unpaved roads lead toward Shipwreck Beach and the otherworldly rock formations of Garden of the Gods, both reachable only by four-wheel drive, a reminder that even Lanai's wild side asks for a little planning first. The newer Sensei property leans fully into wellness and quiet reflection rather than a typical pool scene, which tells you plainly who this island was built for. Even the spa at Sensei draws on Japanese onsen traditions, another quiet signal that this island was designed for restoration, not spectacle. This is the one place on the entire list where the advertised promise and the lived reality line up almost perfectly. That does not mean it fits everyone. Options outside the resort are thin, budget lodging is nearly non-existent, and nightlife barely registers. So families craving constant variety will likely feel the walls close in fast, and travelers on a modest budget should look elsewhere entirely. But if privacy, quiet, and a beach that never feels crowded are what you are actually chasing and the budget allows it, Lanai delivers precisely what it promises, without the letdown running through nearly everything else on this list. That clean, rare alignment between promise and reality is exactly why it earns the top spot. 2 islands remain, and almost nobody watching this actually gets to visit either one. Bonus 2 islands you cannot really visit. One island in this chain carries the nickname Forbidden Island, and the name is not decoration. Niihau has stayed in the hands of the same family since 1864, purchased for $10,000 in gold, worth close to $2 million today. It has remained closed to outsiders for more than a century, and fewer than 200 native residents call it home right now. Recent headlines claimed the island finally opened to tourists. Technically true. Practically, here is the fine print. $630 buys a half-day helicopter tour that lands you on one remote beach for roughly 3 hours, enough time to swim, snorkel, spot monk seals, and hunt for the tiny shells local artisans thread into traditional Niihau lei, a craft recognized as one of the state's most protected art forms and prized far beyond the island itself. The island still runs without a public water system or Wi-Fi. Power comes almost entirely from solar panels, and the roads carry no cars, just one truck for the whole island, so people mostly move by horse or bicycle. You never meet the community that actually lives there. You never stay past sunset, and independent travel remains completely banned, now and for the foreseeable future. Then there is Kahulawe, an island most tourists have never even heard mentioned. It is the smallest of the 8 main Hawaiian islands, roughly 45 square miles, entirely uninhabited. Long before anyone else arrived, it held genuine cultural and religious weight for native Hawaiians, a history the current restoration work actively honors. Decades spent as a United States military bombing range kept the island sealed until it finally returned to the state in 1994, and unexploded ordnance left behind is still being cleared today, the real reason access stays this tightly controlled. Its highest point, a modest peak called Pu Moaulanui, overlooks a reserve where even approved boats follow a strict, limited schedule just to fish nearby, let alone land. The only way onto Kahulawe itself runs through an approved volunteer restoration trip, several days long, roughly $100, and built entirely around physical work, not vacation. Volunteers spend much of that time replanting native vegetation stripped away by a century of erosion, slow work aimed at healing the island rather than showing it off. Together, Niihau and Kahulawe prove something worth remembering the next time an advertisement dangles a Forbidden Island experience. Some of the most talked about places in Hawaii are famous for exactly one reason: almost nobody actually gets to go. So here is the ranking, stripped of the marketing gloss. Oahu, Maui, Kauai, and the Big Island all carry a real gap between the photo and the experience. Not because any of them are bad, but because each demands more planning, more budget, or more flexibility than most travelers walk in expecting. Molokai and Lanai close that gap entirely, one through quiet, unglamorous honesty, the other through pure, expensive precision, and both prove that a Hawaiian island can still deliver exactly what it promises. Niihau and Kahulawe round things out as a reminder that the most tempting offer in Hawaii is sometimes barely an offer at all. Every island on this list can still deliver an unforgettable trip. The real difference comes down to whether you walk in with clear eyes or let the photos do all the planning for you. If this saved you from booking the wrong island, or at least booking the right one with clearer eyes, hit subscribe, because a new destination gets ranked worst to best here every single week. Before you go, tell me in the comments which of these 6 islands is actually on your list for next year, and whether anything here just changed your mind.